I bring you what is possibly the most broken Vile Warrior right now. This Vile Warrior makes me super happy with the damage that I am doing, how well they clean area. As you can see, those skills that it hurts to wait like this fire, that is extremely broken. The area damage you have is devastating, and when we use the totem in combination, it is crazy. Look at that against both of you too. Using God's hammer, that's crazy. It was a single hammer blow, and as you could see, it was 3/4 of your life left, and it was practically guanchoteado with that whole combo. So my idea is to show it and also leave it in the description of a video as I already planned. I have already completely left the entire bit as I did it from level 1 to level 62, which is where I am right now, that we are already starting on maps and how I am going to take it to what has been making maps in endgame. What's the plan I got? What are the statistics that I am going to look for in the soul, and the statistics that I am also going to look for in my clothes? How am I going to change my resistances and everything there? I'm also going to leave you some explanations in capital letters of how the mechanics of the vial work, and I have also given you the order in which they must cast the skills. The vial, simply when they go cleaning maps at the beginning of level 1, at level 15, the only thing they need is practically to use what has been their basics against the elites and against the voices. Later, when they unlock the jump ability along with the totem, then with the voices, what they are going to do is put a totem next to it and jump and hit it with the jump. So I explained to you, in this case I was testing the principle because I wanted to do it with this specific bozo with the ability that you are seeing there, which is like a piece of land that comes out, because that ability is what I want to put in the end game, but I need to catch it. One of the support gems, which is the one that is going to make that piece of land that rises much larger. Then I explained to you which one I replaced it with. I'm going to replace it with the fire area damage ability, which is a spiral. Why? Because it serves me better for the voices, because I'm going to be hurting him at first in area per second time wherever it goes. It doesn't matter if the bozo is a bozo that walks, jumps a lot, moves, as you will see now a little later. No, that doesn't interest me. It's going to stay practically in my area, and it's going to keep eating damage for 1 second, and then against what has been the cleaning of maps, the cleaning of the campaign, it's very strong because I throw a hammer, I scream, and the spiral activates. What if I put a totem pole in? Every time I do a jump or any other ability afterwards, the totem is making replicas, and with one of the support gems I have, activate fire every time that, and it's a lot more damage. If you can see, it is very easy to kill any voice, it doesn't matter what it is. In this one, I am going to put the fire damage ability because at first I feel that it is much more comfortable with it, and that is what interests me. I am also leaving you the passive tree, as I have the character's passive, and I am also going to leave you what has been the filter that I used at the beginning, more or less until level 62. Later, if you want more explanation, you can go through the string, or you can leave me any comments here in the YouTube videos. Any video doesn't matter, you can ask anything and I'll explain, but I think I gave you a pretty good summary here in the description of Max Roll on the while putting everything to combine it. A very important point that I don't want you to make that mistake is when you select the abilities that already have God's Hammer in God's Hammer, just put it in your secondary soul. It's not that you have to have a secondary soul. What you have to do is block the primary, and for it to duplicate, for it to make as a phantom secondary soul a replica of your primary soul, which is what it's supposed to be, which is very strong. His best weapon, he is going to make a replica of it, and then the hammer is going to be alone in that secondary weapon, and every time they are going to throw it, he automatically changes weapons. They throw hammer. When they are going to throw any other ability, he comes back to change to his primary weapon. Then why are they putting it on the secondary weapon? Very simple, because every time they throw the scream, any of the screams, or throw the totems and those abilities, if they have it combined, they will be losing the stacks they take to activate the Hammer of God. So all they have to do is put all the abilities except for God's Hammer on the primary soul and God's Hammer on their ghost secondary soul. They are going to start with any voice. They always activate totem, throw the hammer on the floor, scream and start jumping. Jumps for what? To increase the boss's stack bar so that it falls when the boss is going to fall. Now you are going to have all the stacks you need to throw the hammer of God. When you throw God's hammer again, you will automatically throw totem after you throw the totem, and God's hammer will fall. Before it falls, you are going to activate the screams, and just when the hammer of God falls, you put the jump ability back in. For what? To double the damage. Practically your jumping ability when God's hammer falls and you have this from the position is going to be as much damage as God's hammer, so that they understand how it works, and that's what makes One Chotain. As you saw at the beginning, it was practically nothing. What lasted us was that 20-30 seconds. What lasted us was literally throwing 3 skills like the one he says, and he was killed. So that's what's very important. Just the most interesting part. So I practically crashed here my asthma because it came out in one of the sellers. I got a hammer that had more than 5 skills, and then I bought it and I crashed it because that's what happens. That's why I have a little more damage. Right now I'm having, I think it's like 17 or 18,000 damage at this point I'm at. And all my remnants of abilities are about 6,004, 1,000 out there. That's why I do a lot of damage with virtually every hit I make of any ability. What you get here is mostly going to be armor, life, and if possible, look for what the weapon has been and the gloves manas to kill the spameo of the jumping ability. It will consume too much on your hand. Too much in the passive tree that I put on them. Right now there is a passive that I haven't put on because I can't put it on yet, because what it does is that depending on the amount of strength that your soul asks you to use it, it will double it. It will double the requirement that that weapon asks of you. Yes, it will give you a very good bonus and everything, but right now I don't have to have 300 or more strength, which is what happens to me. In my most, he asks, I think it is 120, I think it is, and he doubles the amount he asks me a little more. So when he asks me practically to ask me for 300 strength, I can't put it on. For that reason, I didn't give it to you, and I'm leaving it for when I move forward and have more points with statistics with me. So I plan to put that point. I'm not interested now. I'm practically very well from both damage and endurance resistance. And I don't have the resistances copied, but I have them acceptable for the point I am at, and then I will copy them in the guide I leave you. I'm leaving you with the full transition of what abilities they would unlock first and what support gems are most important for each one in each act, whether it's high 1 to high 2 and high 3 to what has been a map, which is more or less the cuts they have there. I have 8 or 3 cuts, and after the map I have put the end game part that has been. I named it how to start in end game, but the information I'm putting there is already a little more advanced. I hope that the ability and Bill like it, that they can follow it calmly. Any questions you have, let me know in the comments. I'm going to leave you some extra pieces of videos so you can see how the build works. If you like it, leave me any comments. We'll be live tomorrow too. I don't know what time I can turn it on because I'm going to be changing the location where I have the table. So I hope you really like the video and that I give you support. Give them a like and leave a comment if possible. Thank you very much.
Dale, viejo. Ahora sí te toqué. Obvio. ¿Esto fue bien? lo guanchotea un bosque. Cristian. No, ya no sé ni lo que iba a decir, pap. Créeme que lo que acabo de hacer. Créeme que lo que le acabo de hacer a este boss, mi hermano. Mira, al otro también lo guanchoteé, mi hermano. Guanchoteé a los dos boss.